Good health isn't about collecting the most medical tests. It's about getting the right tests at the right time. Many people believe that after turning 65, they should accept every screening, every scan, every blood test, and every annual package offered. It sounds responsible. It sounds preventive. But modern medical research tells a very different story. In fact, some medical checkups that once helped protect your health may eventually offer very little benefit, and in some situations, they can actually increase your risk of unnecessary treatments, complications, emotional stress, and reduced quality of life. Imagine being told that a harmless finding on a routine scan requires more imaging, then a biopsy, then surgery, only to discover months later that it never would have caused you any harm. Unfortunately, this happens far more often than most people realize. Today's discussion isn't about avoiding doctors or ignoring your health. It's about making smarter, evidence-based decisions that protect both your body and your peace of mind. We'll explore 5 medical checkups that many healthy adults over 65 should think carefully about before automatically agreeing to them. You'll also learn who should still consider these tests, because there is no one-size-fits-all answer. Make sure you stay until the very end, because the final checkup on this list is one that millions of seniors continue receiving, even though, for many, the risks may outweigh the benefits. Understanding this could save you from unnecessary procedures while helping you focus on the discerning screenings that truly matter for a longer, healthier life. Good health isn't measured by how many medical tests you receive. It's measured by whether those tests truly improve your quality of life. As we grow older, many of us assume that saying yes to every recommended screening is the safest choice. After all, we've spent decades hearing that early detection saves lives. While that is often true, the reality becomes more complex after the age of 65. Some medical checkups that were once highly beneficial may offer fewer advantages later in life, especially if they lead to unnecessary procedures, treatments, or anxiety. Modern medicine has taught us that more testing does not always mean better care. In some cases, routine screenings can uncover harmless abnormalities that would never have caused symptoms. Yet those findings may trigger additional scans, biopsies, surgeries, or medications that carry real risks. This is known as overdiagnosis, and it has become an important concern in senior healthcare. That doesn't mean you should avoid doctors or ignore preventive care. Instead, it means making informed decisions based on your age, overall health, medical history, life expectancy, and personal goals. The best healthcare is personalized, not automatic. Throughout this discussion, you'll discover 5 medical checkups that many experts believe deserve careful consideration before agreeing to them after the age of 65. You'll also learn why these recommendations are not the same for everyone, and why an open conversation with your healthcare provider is one of the most powerful tools you have. Some of the information may challenge long-held beliefs about preventive medicine, but understanding the balance between benefits and risks can help you avoid unnecessary treatments while focusing on the care that truly protects your health, independence, and quality of life. Be sure to stay until the end, because the final checkup on today's list is one that surprises many people, and knowing when it may no longer provide meaningful benefit could change the way you approach your healthcare decisions for years to come. Here's Keynote 2 expanded to approximately 300 words, with no subheading, and no ending sentence, as requested. Many hospitals and private clinics promote executive health packages, or full-body screening, programs as the ultimate way to stay ahead of disease. These packages often include dozens of blood tests, advanced imaging scans, heart evaluations, and other screenings, creating the impression that more information automatically leads to better health. While these checkups may sound reassuring, they are not always beneficial for healthy adults over the age of 65. One of the biggest concerns is the high chance of discovering incidental findings, small abnormalities that appear unusual but are actually harmless and would never have caused symptoms or shortened a person's life. Once these findings are identified, however, they often lead to additional testing, repeat scans, biopsies, specialist visits, and sometimes even surgery. Each step introduces new risks, including exposure to radiation, complications from invasive procedures, emotional stress, and significant financial costs. False positive results are another common problem. A test may suggest that something is wrong when, in reality, no disease exists. This can create weeks or months of unnecessary worry while more investigations are performed. Research has shown that routine whole-body scans in people without symptoms have not been proven to reduce overall mortality. yet they frequently increase the number of unnecessary medical interventions. Instead of relying on broad screening packages, healthcare decisions should be based on individual risk factors such as family history, existing medical conditions, lifestyle habits, and current symptoms. Evidence-based medicine supports targeted screening rather than testing everything simply because the technology is available. Preventive healthcare is most effective when it focuses on the tests that have been shown to provide meaningful benefits while avoiding those that offer little value or may expose patients to avoidable harm. Before investing in an expensive executive health package, ask your healthcare provider which screenings are truly appropriate for your age, health status, and personal risk profile, and whether each test has a clear medical reason rather than simply being included as part of a promotional package. For many years, the prostate-specific antigen, or PSA, test has been widely used to screen men for prostate cancer. While this blood test can help detect cancer at an early stage, it is not always the right choice for every man after the age of 70. As men grow older, prostate cancer often becomes slow-growing and may never cause symptoms or threaten their lives. In these cases, finding the cancer through routine screening can lead to treatments that provide little benefit while exposing patients to significant risks. Surgery and radiation therapy may result in complications such as urinary incontinence, erectile dysfunction, bowel problems, and a reduced quality of life. This is why many medical organizations recommend that PSA screening in older adults should be based on an individual's overall health, life expectancy, family history, and personal preferences rather than being performed automatically every year. A healthy man in his early 70s with a long life expectancy and a strong family history of prostate cancer may still benefit from discussing PSA testing with his healthcare provider. On the other hand, someone with multiple serious medical conditions or a shorter life expectancy is less likely to gain meaningful benefits from routine screening. It is also important to understand that an elevated PSA level does not automatically mean cancer is present. Benign enlargement of the prostate, infections, inflammation, and even certain activities can temporarily raise PSA levels, leading to unnecessary biopsies and additional testing. The decision to have a PSA test should always involve a thoughtful conversation about both the potential benefits and the possible harms. The goal is not simply to detect cancer at all costs, but to determine whether finding and treating that cancer is likely to improve both the length and quality of a person's life, allowing medical care to remain focused on interventions that truly make a positive difference for the individual, rather than following a one-size-fits-all approach. Many older adults believe that repeating bone density scans, cardiac stress tests, or other heart evaluations every year is the best way to stay healthy. While these tests play an important role in diagnosing osteoporosis and heart disease, repeating them too frequently without a medical reason often provides little benefit and may even lead to unnecessary treatments. A bone density scan, also known as a DEXA scan, measures the strength of your bones and helps estimate the risk of fractures. However, bone loss usually occurs gradually over several years, which means repeating the test too often is unlikely to reveal meaningful changes. For many people with stable results and no major risk factors, healthcare providers may recommend waiting several years before repeating the scan. Similarly, routine cardiac stress tests are not recommended for people who have no symptoms, such as chest pain, shortness of breath during activity, or unexplained fatigue. Performing these tests in healthy individuals can produce false positive results that suggest a heart problem where none actually exists. This often leads to additional imaging, invasive procedures such as cardiac catheterization, unnecessary exposure to radiation, increased healthcare costs, and considerable emotional stress. The purpose of preventive medicine is not to perform every available test, but to choose those that are supported by scientific evidence and appropriate for each person's individual circumstances. Factors such as age, existing medical conditions, family history, medications, lifestyle, and new symptoms should guide decisions about when repeat testing is necessary. Regular medical checkups remain essential, but they should focus on meaningful conversations, physical examinations, blood pressure management, diabetes control, healthy nutrition, physical activity, and other proven strategies that have a greater impact on long-term health than repeating imaging studies without a clear indication. By avoiding unnecessary testing and concentrating on evidence-based care, older adults can reduce unnecessary risks, lower medical expenses, and ensure that all healthcare resources are directed toward interventions that truly improve both longevity and quality of life, rather than simply increasing the number of medical procedures they Undergo whole-body CT scans and other advanced imaging tests are often advertised as powerful tools for finding hidden diseases before symptoms appear. The idea sounds reassuring. Scan the entire body, detect every possible problem early, and stay one step ahead of serious illness. However, for most healthy adults over the age of 65 who have no symptoms or specific medical concerns, this approach is not supported by strong scientific evidence. One of the biggest drawbacks is exposure to unnecessary radiation. Although a single CT scan carries a relatively small risk, repeated imaging over time increases cumulative radiation exposure without guaranteeing meaningful health benefits. Another concern is the discovery of incidental findings, small nodules, cysts, or other abnormalities that are common as people age but are often harmless. Once these findings appear on a scan, they frequently lead to additional imaging, specialist consultations, biopsies, and even surgical procedures that may never have been needed. This process can create months of anxiety while patients wait for test results, and it may expose them to complications from invasive procedures that ultimately reveal no serious disease. False positive results can also lead doctors down a path of investigating conditions that do not actually exist, increasing healthcare costs while adding emotional stress for both patients and their families. Imaging tests are incredibly valuable when they are ordered for the right reasons, such as investigating persistent symptoms, monitoring a known medical condition, or evaluating a specific concern identified during a physical examination. In these situations, the benefits usually outweigh the risks. The key is using advanced technology wisely rather than routinely. Before agreeing to a whole-body CT scan or other extensive imaging study, ask your healthcare provider why the test is being recommended, what question it is expected to answer, how the results could change your treatment, and whether there are safer or more appropriate alternatives. Thoughtful, evidence-based decision-making helps ensure that medical imaging remains a tool for improving health rather than creating unnecessary worry, avoidable procedures, and risks that may outweigh any potential benefit. Colon cancer screening has saved countless lives by detecting precancerous polyps and early-stage cancers before they become life-threatening. For many adults between the ages of 45 and 75, regular screening is one of the most effective ways to reduce the risk of dying from colorectal cancer. However, after the age of 75, and especially beyond the age of 85, the decision to continue routine colon cancer screening becomes much more individualized. This does not mean the test suddenly becomes harmful or unnecessary for everyone. Instead, the balance between potential benefits and possible risks begins to change. Colonoscopy is generally a safe procedure, but it is still an invasive examination that requires bowel preparation, sedation, and the insertion of a flexible camera through the colon. In older adults, particularly those with multiple chronic health conditions, the risk of complications such as bleeding, dehydration, reactions to sedation, or, in rare cases, a perforation of the colon may be higher than it is in younger individuals. It is also important to remember that most colorectal cancers develop slowly over many years. If a person has had several normal screening results in the past and has no symptoms or significant risk factors, the likelihood of benefiting from continued routine screening may be lower than the risks associated with the procedure itself. On the other hand, healthy older adults with a longer life expectancy, strong family history of colorectal cancer, previous high-risk polyps, or new digestive symptoms may still benefit from further evaluation. The decision should always be based on an individual's overall health, medical history, personal values, and discussions with their healthcare provider rather than age alone. The goal of preventive care is not simply to perform more tests, but to choose the right tests for the right person at the right time, ensuring that every medical decision supports both longevity and quality of life, while avoiding unnecessary procedures that are unlikely to provide meaningful benefit. Here is a strong concluding section for your speech. As we come to the end of today's discussion, I want to leave you with one important message. Getting older does not mean saying yes to every medical test that comes your way. True preventive healthcare is not about doing more. It is about doing what is most likely to help you live a longer, healthier, and more independent life. The goal is to make informed decisions based on the best available evidence, your personal health history, and meaningful conversations with your healthcare provider. 5 medical checkups we explored today are not bad tests. The right person, and under the right circumstances, each one can be an important tool for protecting health. However, when these tests are performed routinely without considering age, symptoms, overall health, or individual risk factors, they can sometimes lead to unnecessary worry, additional procedures, avoidable complications, and treatments that may offer little or no real benefit. Remember, the best healthcare is personalized. Ask questions. Understand why a test is being recommended. Learn about its benefits, risks, and alternatives before making a decision. A few thoughtful questions today could prevent unnecessary procedures tomorrow and help you focus on the habits that truly make the biggest difference. Staying physically active, eating a balanced diet, managing chronic conditions, getting enough sleep, maintaining social connections, and keeping your mind engaged. If you found this information helpful, share it with a friend, spouse, parent, or loved one over the age of 65. It could help someone make a more informed decision about their healthcare. And if you enjoy evidence-based health information that empowers you to take control of your well-being, be sure to subscribe and join us for future discussions. Thank you for watching. Take good care of yourself, and remember that the smartest medical decision is not always the one that involves more testing. It is the one that is right for you.